On Friday, I went to Howl-O-Scream at Seaworld Orlando. In this video, I'll let you know my thoughts about the event and give you some tips if you're planning to go. I'll start off with a quick introduction into the event and the scare zones. Then I'll talk about the paid upgrades, shows, haunted houses, food and themed bars, photo opportunities, and rides that are open. At the end of the video, I'll show you how you can save money on your Howl-O-Scream tickets. Howl-O-Scream is a separately ticketed event on select nights during the Halloween season. Depending on the night, it can end at midnight or at 1 a.m., so check the schedule online. While children can attend the event, SeaWorld does not recommend it for people under 13, and I agree, both because some things might be a little bit scary and because some costumes and performances are a little bit suggestive. I went on the first Friday of the event and I was able to see all of the haunted houses and shows, but I didn't stop for food or linger too long in the bars. Based on my experience with Halloween events at other theme parks, they're usually the most busy on Saturdays, and crowds tend to get bigger the closer that you get to Halloween. On the night that I went, they started closing off sections of the park at 5 p.m., and by 6 p.m., most of the event area was completely closed off. At that point, you could get event wristbands from a station next to Seafire Grill and wait for them to open up the event at 7 p.m. Attendees who were not at SeaWorld for the day would line up at a separate entrance a little bit to the right of the main entrance. Bags larger than 8x5 are not allowed through the Howl-O-Scream event entrance, but if you were already in SeaWorld for the day, then the normal SeaWorld bag policy applies. If you have an annual pass or tickets to SeaWorld for the day, I recommend going through the in-park entrance rather than the event entrance, both because having a bag allows you to carry things like a bottle of water, and because the crowds seem to be lower here. During the event, many sections of the park became designated scare zones where scare actors would try to approach and scare you. Each scare zone has its own theme, and you can see them on screen right now. If you don't want to be scared in the scare zones, you can purchase a No Boo necklace for $15. The biggest store was near the entrance, and there's also a store next to the Beneath the Ice haunted house and a number of merchandise stands. You cannot use this necklace inside of the haunted houses. I didn't think that the scare zones were too scary, but there were some areas, such as next to Deadly Ambush, where they had a lot of fog. So I turned on my necklace just so that people could see me and not bump into me. If you want to skip the lines, you can purchase Front of the Line Fear. The basic version allows you to skip the line for each of the haunted houses once, while the more expensive Extreme version also gives access to quick queue for the rides, as well as reserved seating in the front middle section for one showing of Monster Stomp. There's also a VIP tour, which gives you unlimited skip-the-line privileges and reserved seating, 4 complimentary drinks, and access to bonus rooms in one of the haunted houses. You can also make a reservation for Lost Souls Hideaway. This gives you access to a bar which has cocktails and desserts not available elsewhere, and allows you to see an extra drag cabaret meant for people 18 and up. Speaking of shows, in my opinion, the highlight of the entire night was Monster Stomp in Nautilus Theater. This show is a musical performance of Jack the Ripper and contains many really cool dances. Siren's Song is an outdoor show with dancing and special effects. Sirens come out on stages surrounding the plaza near Icebreaker, and you can't get an ideal view of all the stages at once, so just pick your favorite. The main stage is the larger brown one. The third show is Lurking in the Depths. Here, a monster hunter tells his story about hunting sirens, and the story ties into Siren's Song and the haunted houses. The viewing area for this show is small, so it did fill up more than 15 minutes before the show that I tried to see. But due to the lack of dances and special effects, some people did leave partway through the show, and I also recommend prioritizing Monster Stomp over this show if you're running low on time. Now let's move on to the haunted houses. If you go through the Howl-O-Scream entrance, the first haunted house you get to is Siren of the Seas, which is themed as a ship haunted by sirens. According to people I talked to while waiting in line for a different haunted house, the wait for this one was about 25 to 30 minutes when the event started, but I only waited about 10 minutes for it after 11 p.m. The exit to this haunted house is very close to the exit of the event, so it might be a good idea to save this for the end of the night if you can't be one of the first few people in line. The next haunted house is Beneath the Ice, which is themed as an Arctic research facility that was buried under the snow. The wait for this house was also around 25 minutes before 10 o'clock, but got shorter after 11 p.m. Captain's Revenge is themed as a pirate ship taken by darkness, and in my opinion, it was the scariest house at the event. While I haven't been to other Halloween events in Orlando, I found this less scary than the haunted house in Universal Studios Hollywood, so I assume that the houses at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Orlando will be scarier than Captain's Revenge. Since I was a little bit ahead of the crowds in getting here, I only waited about 10 minutes. Dead Vines is a haunted house that's easy to miss because the entrance actually leads backstage. This plant-themed haunted house was my second favorite, and in my opinion, the second scariest. I waited about 15 minutes for it at around 10 p.m. My favorite haunted house was Blood Beckoning, centered around the Siren Scratch. This haunted house is a little bit separated from the others, so keep that in mind when planning your night. There's also some themed bars and food stands during the event. While the food stands have a few event-exclusive food items, the restaurants that were open during the event, such as Altitude Burgers, were serving their regular menu. If you do stop for a meal, I recommend going to Poison Grotto, aka Waterway Grill, which had an acrobat performing above the dining area. My favorite bar was Siren's Last Call, which is near the event entrance and had a few dancers. I did find a couple of event-exclusive photo opportunities with photo key photographers. The first is a sign near the entrance, and the other was a photo with a siren. So what rides were open during Howl-O-Scream? On the night that I went, Icebreaker and Mako were open. Based on the event map, it's also possible for Infinity Falls and Manta to be open. The wait times were very low for most of the night, but I did see Icebreaker get up to a posted 15-minute wait. Do be aware that if you check the app during the event, it might show wait times for other rides such as Journey to Atlantis and Kraken, but those areas are actually blocked off during the event. Now I'll tell you how you can save money on your tickets to Howl-O-Scream. If we go to the SeaWorld website, then you can see that the prices of tickets for each day are different. From this calendar, you can find the night that has the cheapest price, which at the time that I'm checking happens to be Halloween night. But buying directly from SeaWorld will not be the cheapest way to get Howl-O-Scream tickets unless you happen to have some special discounts. To save money, you can go to the description of this video where you'll find my affiliate link for Undercover Tourist. On that website, you can scroll down to Howl-O-Scream tickets. Select how many tickets you want, and then add your tickets to the cart. Select the date that you want and continue to cart, where you'll enter in your payment details. Once we factor in taxes and the $9.99 transaction fee that SeaWorld charges on purchases through their website, you can see that I'm actually saving over $12 by buying through Undercover Tourist. No matter who you buy from, you should receive an email with your ticket details that you can print out and bring to the park. As Halloween approaches, the prices of tickets tends to go up, so you can save money by buying early. In fact, in early August of this year, tickets were as low as $29.99. So that's something you can keep in mind in terms of the timeline if you are planning to go to Howl-O-Scream in future years. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate if you let the like button know. And I do plan on uploading other videos about SeaWorld, such as reviews of the nearby hotels. Once those are out, I'll link to them on screen.